Okay, so we're looking here at question 2, 2014 paper 2 leaves her ordinary level. And as always, say, try these questions before we go through them, and it'll give you the best chance of memorizing them or remembering the method. Let's get stuck in. So when taking a penalty kick, the probability that Kevin scores is always 3/4. Okay, so he scores 3 out of 4 times. Now, okay, that's part A. Kevin takes a penalty. What's the probability that he does not score? Okay, so if he scores 3 out of every 4, he misses 1 out of every 4. Okay, he could have achieved that by taking 3/4 away from 1. 1 is he will definitely score. Um, 3/4 is he scores 3/4 of them, so you're left with the 1/4. Okay, so I've just done that here. Probability of not scoring, because 1 is definitely scoring, take away the 3/4 that he will score, you're left with the 1/4. Now, Kevin takes 2 penalties. What's the probability he scores both? So, what that basically is saying is, what's the probability of Kevin scoring and scoring? Now, we said in question 1, and means multiply when it comes to probabilities. So, probability of scoring in the first event is 3/4, and the second event is 3/4. So, you multiply those two probabilities, and you get the fraction 9 over 16. If you get that kind of question, simple. Okay. If you're not getting what is being said and know the rule of multiplication and, you won't have, I suppose, a hard time. You try and then, if you're in a case where you're having a hard time, hitting the attempt. Okay. So if you can there say, even the probability he scores 1, putting down 3/4 and multiplying it by something, okay, you have a chance of getting some marks, okay. Now, parts here, Kevin takes 3 penalties. What's the probability he scores exactly twice? Okay, now this is very tricky. But if you think about it, probability of penalty, penalty, penalty. Okay, how many different ways could he score twice? So let's go to the answer because I've done it nicely. Okay, he could score, score, miss, or he could miss, score, score, or he could score, miss, score. Now, as far as I'm aware, I've thought of every scenario there where he's scoring exactly twice. Okay, now you'll notice there that this probability score is 3/4 and score and miss. So they're multiplied. Or is added to miss, which is was 1/4 times 3/4 times 3/4, and which is plus score to 3/4 and miss times 1/4 times 3/4. So you see it all written here is a big, huge, I suppose, big, huge calculation. Okay, score, score, miss, or miss, score, score, or score, miss, score. Now that's pretty advanced probability. Okay, you have to remember that when they say score exactly twice, that it's not just that there's different ways you can do that. Okay, once you've, I suppose, realize that, you've already proven in part B and A that you understand the score score thing. Okay, 3/4 times 3/4, score and miss. Now, once you put this whole thing through the calculator, it's a pretty big chunky calculation to do in the calculator. Okay, you're going to end up with your 9 over 64 plus 9 over 64, etc. And you come that when you add them together, you end up with the simplified fraction 27 over 64. Okay. Now move on to part D here. Kevin takes 5 penalties. What is the probability that he scores for the first time on his 5th penalty? Okay. So what's the probability he misses and misses and misses and misses and then scores? Okay, so each time and means multiply. You know the probability of missing is 1/4. So it's 1/4 times 1/4 times 1/4 times 1/4 times 3/4. Now that's that calculation there. Okay. When you put it to the calculator, you end up with the very, very small fraction 3 over 1024. So it's very unlikely that this Kevin guy will miss a score. Okay, in that order. Now, that should be the end of the question. Okay, so that's part D. Again, as I said with question 1, probabilities really hit and miss. All you can try to do is, if you're not very good at probabilities, is try scoop losses. Now just notice here with part C, that 5A scale means on that particular year with that particular question is either correct, 5 marks, or no marks. So any work that wasn't the correct, that didn't lead to the correct answer, was useless. Okay, which is very, very harsh for probability. But you see here in part D, if you got even, I suppose, if you realize that the probability of miss and miss multiplied a quarter by a quarter, you would have got like something. Okay, so anyway, that's part question 2, paper 2, and thanks very much.